To survive in Dead by Daylight, players must strictly adhere to a singular, unyielding task: locate mechanical generators around the map, repair them to power the exit gates, and escape. Over hundreds of hours, this loop establishes a deep psychological baseline. Generators become islands of safety. Every consecutive second a survivor spends holding a wrench to that machinery directly correlates to a higher chance of their team surviving. If a developer wants to subvert this comfort zone, they face a unique design problem. They have to find a way to make players terrified of interacting with their one and only win condition. Enter Akira Otoishi, known in the fog as the Guitarist. Driven by a massive god complex, he treats this realm as his personal world tour, a stage for an eternal performance where the audience is forced to scream forever. He executes this performance by infecting the mechanical objective itself. The Guitarist turns the exact lifeline players rely on into an active, lethal trap. Akira doesn't stalk survivors alone. He commands an autonomous electrical entity called a stand, known as Red Hot Chili Pepper. This entity actively dwells inside the trial's power grid, moving through the map's wiring. Akira channels Red Hot Chili Pepper into generators or exit switches, creating a surge-charged state. Repair sounds amplify by 50%, broadcasting locations, and skill checks become significantly harder. Ultimately, the killer can instantly teleport, emerging directly from the machinery. This mechanic forces survivors to second-guess every interaction. Routine progression is replaced with constant psychological dread, because the very object they must repair might explode into a violent ambush. The trap goes a step further through a mechanic called battery drain. Akira can manually siphon progress from generators, actively stealing the survivor's work to fuel his personal supercharge meter. Maxing out this meter triggers the first economic consequence. Red Hot Chili Pepper turns bright gold and gains a 12-meter ranged lightning projectile, severely punishing players who try to keep their distance in a chase. This line graph maps the paradox of the second outcome. If survivors successfully complete generators, the increased power in the grid scales up the speed and distance of Akira's secondary attack, the high-voltage dash. The punishment for getting hit by this dash is severe. It applies the incapacitated status effect for 15 seconds, preventing them from repairing, healing their injured teammates, or sabotaging the hooks, utterly halting their momentum. This economy presents players with a true lose-lose scenario. Allowing Akira to regress objectives grants him lethal range, but successfully advancing the objective grants him inescapable mobility. Moving from his active power to his passive perks, we see a design philosophy built to isolate survivors and suffocate whatever momentum they manage to scrape together. Hex Total Blackout attacks their perception. Survivors working on generators are afflicted with blindness and obliviousness, meaning they cannot see auras or hear the killer's terror radius. It also completely removes the great success zones on skill checks, slowing down optimization. Top of the World aggressively punishes altruism. The perk selects one survivor as the obsession. Whenever any other player attempts to heal a teammate or perform a cooperative action, their auras are immediately revealed to Akira, making teamwork a massive liability. Finally, Stairway Denied activates at the exit gates. For every 10% of progress a survivor makes pulling the exit switch, they suffer a cumulative penalty to all interaction speeds. If they panic and let go, the gate's progress regresses instantly at 100% speed. These three perks perfectly reflect Akira's god complex. He dictates the tempo of the trial, ensuring brutal consequences for anyone who tries to steal his spotlight or escape his stage. By the late stages of a trial, the map functions as a rigged concert hall. Survivors navigate a minefield of live wires where every interaction threatens to seal their fate. A moment of wonder. This theatrical violence culminates in the Mori Grand Finale Solo, the ultimate expression of Akira's showmanship. The execution begins with Akira's stand delivering a flurry of punches from multiple angles, physically suspending the survivor in midair. As they hang there, Akira pulls out a vintage Gibson ES-335 and aggressively shreds a high-speed solo. Hitting the final pinch harmonic, Akira kicks a massive telephone pole out of the ground. His stand slams the survivor onto the top transformer, incinerating them in a massive discharge of golden light, as Akira takes a theatrical bow. The Guitarist highlights a lethal evolution in asymmetrical game design. The primary source of danger shifts from the killer's presence to the survivor's own reliance on the machinery required for their escape.